Hi friends, this is Soundcheck. In this increasingly visual world, we at Kindle were wondering how long could we stay behind the scenes. So from this month, we are going to present to you our ideas behind our different cover stories. We are going to talk about our different essays, the ideas that went behind creating particular designs. So this is the first edition of Soundcheck. Now, last month, Kindle completed its 50th issue, so it was a personal milestone for us. And our tagline changed from critical reflective journalism to ideas, imagination, dialectics. So now, in today's world where we have writers who think that they are youth icons, who have a quick fix for everything, we have so-called activists who are launching political parties, and we have political parties which are forging and breaking new alliances every day. Is it time that we reimagine our development paradigm? Is democracy the be-all and the end-all for progress? So these were questions that kept bothering us. And that's the reason why we have come up with this month's cover. It's called The Emperor's New Clothes, calling the democracy's bluff. So, Pratha, if you could just introduce the cover to our readers.
Absolutely. As it is called calling democracy's bluff, you're trying to call somebody's bluff. You're trying to shed some light on things which we have curiously turned a blind eye towards. So yes, at this particular juncture where millions continue to remain oppressed, where millions continue to remain disempowered, where we are lurching from crisis to crisis, I think it is absolutely essential to reimagine and reanalyze the contours of liberal democracy, and also to reassess the virtues of democracy and how far have they served us. As Alan Badiou had put some time back, that sometimes this so-called illusion of democracy becomes your biggest enemy, where the acceptance of the mechanisms of democracy seems like the only legitimate means of bringing about any change, which in a way prevents any genuine transformation whatsoever. But then again, this is a subject of immense debate and discourse, and also the process through which we arrive there, process through which we dismantle the structure, is also a very hard, arduous, long process where we need to keep chipping at the old block till we gain confidence to overthrow the ruling classes. So Purnima Joshi in her essay over here, talks about all of this, talks about the ways that our democracy has failed us, and also talks about what's happening. It talks about all these spontaneous movements that are erupting here and there, these movements against ecological degradation, absolutely. So which are in a way keeping the wheels turning. And also she talks extensively about the role of the left, because during such junctures is when I think left could be the only strong force which could provide an alternative political agenda. But very sadly, it has only been entangled in an electoral politics in our country and has failed to provide us any solutions or provide us any alternatives. They have remained dangerously short-sighted. So all of this has been explored to a in a lot of details in Purnima's essay, and it's a great read. And also the other essay from the cover story is, as you can see, this is the graphic which we have used. This is on American elections, which Shashwat has written from New York. So he has a new ringside view on what's happening there, and it's called Tales from Kola Land. And so this particular phraseology, which leftist thinkers often associate with American democracy, they call it Kolacracy. Shan, if you could just talk a little bit about that.
See, when we are doing a cover on democracy and the farce of democracy, then this year being also the year of the American elections, we simply couldn't come out with a cover without a second lead on the American elections. And as Shashwat points out, that it ultimately boils down to a Hobson's choice, because you just have two binaries. On one hand you have the Democrats, and on the other hand you have the Republicans. So do the people actually have any choice? What is the position, what is the voice of communists in all of this? What is the voice of the Tea Party in all of this?
Absolutely.
So that's Shashwat's piece, and so that's two back-to-back essays. That's our cover. And also, if you could just talk about this cover
Absolutely.
illustration.
So this illustration particularly came to my mind. I was reading some, I think Zizek's book.
Yeah.
And there was just one line where I think he was quoting from somewhere, I don't exactly remember, where he says, the naked emperors continue to haunt us. So that's exactly what is happening over here, which the naked emperor, the emperor's new clothes come from a very old folklore or a fairy tale, I think.
Fairy tale.
So here they are, these naked emperors, absolutely unwilling to admit their utter failure, absolutely unwilling to admit their utter shallowness to govern us or to take us to any sort of better predicament from what we are. So there they are prancing about, and somebody from the masses, somebody from the ruled has to blow the whistle on them. So this kid calls, so he says, look, they are naked. So that's what we're trying to do with this month's cover essay. So that's the cover. And apart from our cover essays, we also have a lot of interesting articles. Particularly, I would like to talk about first is Thomas Crowley's piece. He runs this column called Pop Goes the Culture, and this month he raises this very interesting question. This year this book released Catherine Boo's Behind the Beautiful Forevers, where she talks about this slum Annawadi near the Mumbai International Airport. And the book got a lot of criticism. So Thomas asks in this book, in this piece, that is this criticism because a white person has written about poverty in India, or is it actually criticizing the book? And he raises this interesting point here that Aman Sethi's book, A Free Man, also came out this year, and that book also talks about poverty, but ironically, Aman Sethi's book hasn't done as well as Catherine Boo's books, at least in terms of sales. So that's one of the pieces, and if you would want to talk about any other piece that... No, I wanted to talk about Amit Sengupta's piece, which is the idea of resilience. Actually, we were supposed to carry it last month on our Ideas, Imagination, Dialectics piece, but anyways, it got delayed and so it came to us. But nevertheless, we are very, very happy to carry it this month also. And this is a story which we really, really relate to, because it also seems to be our story, where he talks about all these small alternate media which die this untimely death every single day. There are thousands of smaller alternate publishing houses which cannot survive because of lack of structural support. They disappear so easily from our myopic readership aspirations. He talks about a journal which Camus used to bring out. It was a war journal called Combat, which could not survive. He talks about Marquez's journal, which could not survive. So this idea of resilience has to be there, and it is our story also, that being such a small publication, it's been 4 years now, and we continue to bring out all our issues with a lot of conviction and a lot of hardship for that matter. But then again, I just want to reiterate this fact, Shayan, that this is the way we have to be. Because if we try to become bigger, or if we try, or the other way around, if we try and if we strive to make the mainstream media some sort of a hallmark for social responsibility, that could be dangerously utopian, because they don't belong to the public sphere structurally. They belong to the profit sphere, and they would exactly act as pure business houses. So they would only produce a certain kind of journalism, and let's not go there. Let's not even blame them for that, because that's the structure which they exist in. That's what they are. So this is where we can actually. So this is the sort of magazine. This is the sort of publication where we can actually ideate, where we can actually think in really radical ways and imagine a new world. So that's one piece which is definitely very close to my heart, but that's on a serious note. But I would definitely want you to talk about the piece which you have written in this issue, and. It's called Robert Vadra Ki Haseen Duniya, and please talk about it.
The idea came from Pritha. She has been Facebook friends with this very incredibly handsome man called Robert Vadra. And she used to tell me that just look at his update today, fitness week number 4. I have done 25 crunches and I've lost 20 kilos. So there's this man who is caught in his own bubble. And as new scams are revealed every week, does his crunches also go on increasing? And he had political ambitions as well, but his mother-in-law sort of shut him up. because mother-in-law also has a son who also has prime ministerial ambitions, apparently. So that's the piece where we sort of take a light-hearted dig at what is the cult of Robert Vadra, if I may call him, because he has this coterie of followers who keep raising him to the skies, that Greek god you are, and you are dynamic, and he is at it. He keeps listening, he keeps blissfully listening to Selena Gomez while striking 100 crore deals with real estate agents.
And before we, if somebody tries to blame us for kind of trying to create a mountain out of a molehill or kind of, so let me just give you a sample of the kind of things that he writes. Somewhere he says that after a great workout, most people tend to look their best, muscle definition wise. So this guy who is a great admirer of mine, he blatantly tells me, if you make me like you, I want to gift you a Range Rover. I smiled and thought, I have better cars than the Range Rover. So come on, that's enough inspiration, right?
That's the Rajnikant of Delhi, if I may say.
Absolutely.
And yes, the questions of corruption have already been there in the public sphere for quite some time, so it's not that we are trying to insinuate anything, but we are constructing materials. We are working with materials which are already available in the public domain.
Absolutely.
So that's one piece, and apart from that, we have some interesting interviews as well.
Some very interesting interviews. Shayan has done two very good interviews with Malika Sarabhai, where she talks about Gujarat, and she has a very interesting take on Madhu Kishwar's letter to Arnab Goswami.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting interview, and also you've interviewed Dilo, who was here in Calcutta for a festival.
For the Park's new festival.
Yeah.
So he is an independent artist, a queer artist who does stand-up, who does theatre pieces as well. He's based out of America currently. So it's a very political interview. Go through, do read it. And there are other interesting stories as well. Shubham's piece on Paralympics is very interesting. It's a very alternative take amidst all the celebratory pieces on Paralympics. So that's that about the cover. So Pritha, concluding words for today?
Well, my only, I just keep going back to these words of Bertolt Brecht, when he was called before the House Committee on Un-American Activities in America. And he told them, we are living in a dangerous world. Our state of civilization is such that mankind already is capable of becoming enormously wealthy, but as a whole is still poverty-ridden. Great wars have been suffered. Greater ones are imminent, we are told. Do you not think that in such a predicament, every new idea should be examined carefully and freely? That's exactly what we are trying to do, Shayan, here.
Absolutely. So do grab your copy of Kindle's October issue. Thanks so much.
Absolutely, and do send feedback to us.
Yeah, that's very important.
Thank you very much.